President Moon Jae-in has stressed the urgency of coming up with ways to counter Japan's export curbs. Speaking during a meeting with the leaders of Korea's 5 political parties, the president expressed the need to devise ways to resolve the issue and bring relations to a normal state. Also on the agenda was the stalled review of the government's supplementary budget bill. For more, we connect to our Shin Se-min on the line first. Se-min, has the meeting come to an end?
Not yet, Tan. No official confirmation on whether or not the meeting has wrapped, which means that rare meeting of the political leaders is still, in fact, ongoing, going way past the scheduled time, logging 3 hours and still counting. And once that meeting wraps, we are expecting on a group briefing from the party spokesman here at the top office. But let me bring you to that scene moments prior to that start of the meeting between the president and 5 political party leaders. President Moon Jae-in told party chiefs that it's important to pool their wisdom on ways to minimize Korea's dependence on Japan, and he put 2 major issues on the table for talks today: Japan's export restrictions targeting the heart of the Korean economy and the review of supplementary budget bill.
지금 가장 시급하고 이렇게 중요한 일은 일본의 수출 제한 조치에 대해서 당장 우리가 어떻게 대응할 것이며, 또 근본적으로는 우리 주력 제조 산업의 핵심 소재 부품들의 지나친 일본 의존을 어떻게 이제 줄여 나갈 것인지, 그에 대해서 함께 지혜를 모아 나가는 것이라고 생각합니다.
He also added that the leaders can also talk about ways to resolve the conflict between the 2 neighboring countries ASAP and restore ties for the good of the 2 nations. And with that, the president also stressed the urgency of handling the long-stalled multi-billion-dollar supplementary budget bill at the National Assembly, citing grave economic conditions.
조합 경정 예산이 이렇게 시기를 놓치지 않도록 그렇게 협력을 해주시고, 더 나아가서 소재 부품 문제에 대한 어떤 대책, 이게 그 예산도 좀 국회에서 좀 충분하게 반영시켜 주시기를 당부를 드리겠습니다.
And adding to that, the rival political party leaders voiced their concerns about Japan's export curbs. Poll reports say that the main opposition Liberty Korea party leader Hwang Kyo-hwan even called on President Moon to hold a summit meeting to handle this issue in a top-down manner. But despite some of the differences, the meeting today already signifies the gravity of the issue the country is facing, as the leaders have put their political differences aside and are standing united in dealing with Japan's export restrictions, which have shown no sign of de-escalating.
Se-min, do we know if the parties are likely to draw up some type of an agreement on the issue? What are you hearing so far on that?
Now, that's still a big unknown at this point. The presidential press corps here are expecting some sort of a conclusive briefing to take place in the coming hour or so, but that has not yet been finalized. We could perhaps expect an agreement amongst the participants, which could include parliamentary-level cooperation to point out the irrationality of Japan's export measures, or even the formation of a special committee from the National Assembly. We could also learn whether or not the leaders agreed on sending an envoy to Japan to help settle the case diplomatically through dialogue, something the South Korean government had been reiterating over and over. But for now, we are still on that waiting end, so we're going to have to wait for that conclusive briefing in the coming hour. Tylen?